Venus and Capricorn. So here the heart is very hardworking. What does that even mean? Well, it means that love here is a bit more about personal and less about a couple. It's a romance with yourself. This is a person that needs to work on their art, their creativity, themselves ultimately. They need a lot of energy devoted to finding themselves, becoming themselves. It's through all of this hard work that their heart grows. This is an active heart. They are a go-getter. If you have this placement, you're someone that needs substance, something real, something tangible. You want to work on yourself before you get into a relationship or a couple. And even when you are in that relationship, you still need a lot of alone time to really just work on that bond between your heart and your mind and all of the components of yourself. This is a solitary heart. It's a bit like a monk, but instead of things like meditation, typically a Capricorn Venus grows their heart through something that is tangible, that you can see, that you can touch. And often, since Venus is also in the realm of aesthetics and art and creativity, this could definitely be where your work comes out. Maybe you have a gift for interior design. Maybe you buy and sell things from yard sales and sell them online. This is a person that really should not be in a codependent relationship at all. You will just miss out on everything that your heart needs. Your needs are very different than other people, and that is totally valid and okay, and you should listen to your heart. You're looking for a relationship that is interdependent, meaning a good visual for that would be that if you are flying in the sky in this plane, instead of your husband or your wife being in the same plane with you, they are flying in their own plane and you are both going side by side. Sometimes you go different destinations, but you come back together. You are best suited in a couple that allows you to have your freedom, your independence, and your alone time. This is a person that ultimately doesn't need anyone. That is what makes you attractive. That is what is the sex appeal. Emotionally speaking, there's a lot of strength in there. What you really need, though, is that creative work. Whatever that work is, you probably know. It's different for each person, but it's usually something that's a little solitary. It's something that is very personal to you. There will be endless power struggles for you in your love life if you do not heed this advice. Capricorn can be completely consumed with power struggles, and I think that's the last thing that you want in your love life. You have to really find somebody that understands that they cannot control you, that you need your independence, that you're going to do your own thing, and that they need to respect you and your time. This is not for everybody because some people might think this is kind of too cold for them. They want to be constantly very clingy. You're not best suited for a very clingy person. For you, real romance, real attraction doesn't come from a need. That's why clingy is a big turnoff. What is attractive to you is someone who is independent, someone who's strong, someone who can handle things. If they're not mature, then what will happen is that your relationship will become very immature. I referenced Zsa Zsa Gabor. Zsa Zsa Gabor had a Capricorn and Venus. So that's definitely the dark side. If you're not careful, you can get into relationships where they're needy and clingy, and your immaturity will come out because you are just so irritated, finding them to be so repulsive. A Venus in Capricorn here, she needs to trust her own voice. She needs to trust her own intuition. She is her own authority. She doesn't need anyone else to complete her. She will seduce you with her maturity, her cool indifference, her work ethic, and her powerful soul. This is a powerhouse that makes you feel more powerful by the fact that they are interested, by the fact that they notice you. If a Capricorn in Venus chooses to open their heart to you, it's very special because it is so rare. Your first romance is with yourself. You're probably keenly aware of that, but it might help just for somebody to vocalize that to you. And this is the foundation of what your love life should be built around. A lot of other placements confuse love with need. A Capricorn and Venus, they can trick themselves, but deep down, you know the difference. Because a Capricorn's heart is so independent, there can also be a tendency to grow apart from your partner, and you're both living two completely different lives. It's always important to find that balance between complete autonomy and codependence. There's that perfect spot right in the middle. A Capricorn in Venus is probably turned on by someone who is powerful in their own career, in their own right. They take their work very seriously. They're very good at what they do. This is catnip for a Capricorn Venus. Because you're so self-reliant, if you choose a partner that is weak, not only will you not respect them, but they will become more and more clingy, trying to get your attention, while you get more and more distant. They will get more immature, putting on shows, trying to get you to notice them. And in response, you might do something immature just to try to show them, hey, this is what you look like. Have some self-respect. You're probably thinking, oh yeah, I've been there before. And it might seem like a real quick, easy fix just to put a band-aid on the relationship, because Capricorns don't like to give up, of course, and just start to do the thinking for them, like control them. But once the respect is gone, for a Capricorn Venus, it's over. Respect is ultimately the most powerful aphrodisiac here. This is kind of a loner heart. They will seduce you by their cool, chill, they're just floating through life like an executive. They've got it on lockdown. This kind of leaves you wanting more because you're wondering, they are quite powerful. A Capricorn and Venus will probably test out your maturity levels and your work ethic and all the things that they find sexy to see if you're on their level. Romantic displays, words, all that, flowers, chocolate, not that important here. It's more about commitment, showing that you're in it for the long haul. When you say you're going to do something, you stick with it. They find that very sexy. They're often good as a friend that's in charge. If you have an event or something going on, they might be the one to kind of orchestrate everything. They're like the head of the phone tree. And if you have this placement, it always seems to your friends like you have things under control, like you have a handle on things. And that might not always be true, of course, but that's sort of how they perceive you. One of the reasons for this is that a Capricorn and Venus does not feel comfortable showing their weakness. That is the last thing that they want to do with friends and also with relationships. Capricorns need to be powerful. They need to be in command. So once in a while, if you need a shoulder to cry on, go for it. I promise, it won't be the end of the world, and there's a reason that you pick them as friends. In the end, it'll probably bring them closer to you, and they will respect you more for it. A Venus in Capricorn loves purpose, direction, goals, security, and this is how you can show your affection for them. Because this is dealing with money, of course, yes, material possessions are very important to them. It's part of their security. It's part of feeling established. It's part of their self-respect. Of course, a Capricorn in Venus is pretty good at acquiring money. Once they put their work ethic into it, Capricorn is quite a pro when it comes to savings. This position can become depressed. The reason why is that they don't feel comfortable to open up to their friends. So if you're dealing with something that is really traumatic or stressful, if you hold it all in, you can feel very, very alone. And yes, usually this position is great at self-regulating and self-healing and all of that. But once in a while, something happens in your life that is so severe that you really should reach out and look for someone to talk to. This doesn't mean that you are codependent automatically just because you need someone's help. It just means you're human. There is something very mysterious about them. Scarlett Johansson has this position. It's kind of a siren, just doesn't give a F, you know? Like they're almost just above it with love. Like if they want to, they can be very calculating about love. They keep so many of their cards close to them that you don't always know what's going on in their heart. It's a mystery. They rarely tell the full story and open up to people because their heart is very independent. And they don't need to express themselves all the time to feel close and to feel closure. They're always very helpful with friends. They're always reaching out to help others. Similarly to a Venus in Virgo, something important for a Capricorn here to learn is to receive love as well as give love. You can often intimidate people because of that powerhouse heart. There can also be an undercurrent of kind of a success competition. within the relationship, which can actually be a really great fuel to keep the romance going. If there's respect on both sides and both people are very good at what they do, this can really just help that relationship stay fun and full of life. If you're a man and you have this position, you are attracted to a woman who has everything on lockdown, doesn't seem to need anyone, fiercely independent. She has classic good looks and manners out of a magazine, effortless and yet flawless. Often attracted to a woman who's career-oriented, could be older as well, someone who comes across very, very mature. A bit of a pessimist maybe, cynical, not easily won over. She doesn't automatically trust people. If you're a man with this position, you might actually not mind a woman that makes more money than you do. A Venus in Capricorn likes art that has stood the test of time, the classics. If I'm picturing a Roman statue, I would picture two lovers walking side by side, not even touching. But there's like a mysterious little smile between the two, which lets you know that there's something going on there. All right, hope you guys like my take and come back for the next video. Subscribe.